Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. And today I'm going to be taking a look at another 2024 release, this time from legendary guitarist, composer and band leader Meola. And this is his latest double album for ear music, 24. So 24 marks the 26th studio album that Meola has released under his name. And as we all know, Meola is one of the greatest guitar players of all time. And he's been a force ever since he burst onto the scene in the mid-70s as a member of the classic Return to Forever lineup with Chick Corea, Stanley, Clarke and Lenny White. And throughout his legendary career, Meola has put out a number of albums where he has dabbled in a variety of styles, ranging from jazz to fusion to world music. You name it, Meola has incorporated a variety of styles in his music. But for 24, this sees Meola go in a completely different direction. That is a radical departure to anything he has done previously. And this sees Meola almost lean towards the world of classical music, as the music for 24 is very heavily orchestrated. And even though this is very much a solo effort with Meola playing guitars, bass, keyboards, and percussion, it also features guest contributions from longtime collaborators. So, featured on this album, we've got Derek Wieland on piano and keyboards, Rodrigo G, Pahlen on harmonica, Hernan Romero on guitar and piano, Siuxx and Pere Munuera on vocals, Tom Brechtlein on drums, Gumbi Ortiz on congas, Amit Kavthekar on tabla, and Gisella Giufra on cajon. So quite a diverse collection of talents lending their contributions to Meola's music. And the meaning behind the name of this album, 24, is how long it took Meola to put this album together. So Meola worked on making this album for a total of 4 years, from 2020 to 2024. And after listening to this album a number of times, I can honestly tell you it is absolutely fantastic. It's different. It's much more of a classical album than it is a jazz or world album, but it still retains all of the classic hallmarks that we have all come to know Meola for, and it retains a lot of the flamenco style of Meola's guitar playing that he has built his name on. And the production, the arrangements, the compositions, you name it, this album is absolutely tremendous. And for my money, this is some of Meola's most deepest writing as a composer, and it really shows. And it's a very laid back album as compared to some of his other albums, but it's still very enjoyable music. And one thing about Meola is he never shorts you. He always delivers the goods, and he knows how to get his listeners to embark on a journey with him. And that's what Meola's music is all about. It's a journey, it's very cinematic, and it's very deep and emotional, and it's absolutely amazing, as you'd expect from a guy who's been putting out some of the greatest music in the last 50 plus years. Meola continues to reinvent himself and constantly pushing the boundaries of the guitar as an instrument. So let's have a quick look, shall we? So as you can see, it's a double album. So there's a full breakdown of who plays on what tracks, and there's Meola and the guys putting the album together. There's some cool shots of Meola. The awesome picture of the man himself. And we got all the credits. Who played on what. And we got like, all the production notes. So, as I mentioned already, this is a very heavily orchestrated album. So it's 2 discs, and all of the compositions are written and composed by Meola. So we've got on the first track, we've got Fandango, which is an awesome opener. Tears of Hope is excellent, and then we got Esmeralda, which is tremendous. And then we got the Caprichio Suite, which is just gorgeous. And then we got Ava's Dance in the Moonlight, which is lovely. And then we got Immeasurable Part 1, which is tremendous. And then we got straight into disc 2, we got Immeasurable Part 2, which is excellent. Eden is great. Close Your Eyes is great. And then we've got Immeasurable Part 3, which is tremendous. Paradox of Puppets, which is great. For Only You is great as well. Gene Tick is great. Testaments 24 is great. And we've got Precocious, which is the closer. Now, with this album, there were a couple vocal tracks, and I'm not normally keen on vocal tracks, but I thought the vocals on some of these tracks were actually really good. You know, they actually added quite an interesting dynamic to Meola's music. And we've seen Meola use wordless vocals in the past, most notably on Soaring Through a Dream with Hernan Romero. So it's kind of cool to see Meola go back to that style a little bit, and it really works very well. And it almost operates as another instrument as opposed to, you know, singing. And I love it. I think it works out very well. And some of those vocal tracks for me were really outstanding on this album. So the standout tracks for me on disc 1 are Tears of Hope, Caprichio Suite, Ava's Dance in the Moonlight, and Immeasurable Part 1. And the standout tracks for me on disc Part 2, Eden, Close Your Eyes, Paradox of Puppets, Gene Tick, Testaments 24, and Precocious. But the whole album, from top to bottom, is just excellent and remarkably strong. And once again, Meola has delivered another fine masterpiece in his ever-growing catalogue. And I really like this album a lot. As I said, it's not really your typical Meola album. There's not a lot of burning style of playing. It's all mainly heavily acoustic driven, but there are some electric moments. But by and large, the acoustic guitar is the dominant instrument on both discs, but it's tremendous. As I said, this is more like a classical album than a jazz or world album, which you may have seen from Meola in the past, but still very enjoyable. I really like this album a lot, and I've listened to this, as I said earlier, a number of times, and it grows with every listen. You know, this is very different, but at the same time, very enjoyable. So there you have it. Meola 24, the 26th studio album from Meola, who shows no signs whatsoever of slowing down, and he just continues to constantly get better. So there you have it, 24. Excellent album and one of the standouts of 2024. Absolutely love it. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your favourite track from Meola 24? Is it on disc 1, Fandango, Tears of Hope, Esmeralda, Caprichio Suite, Ava's Dance in the Moonlight, Immeasurable Part 1? Or on disc 2, is it Immeasurable Part 2, Eden, Close Your Eyes, Immeasurable Part 3, Paradox of Puppets, For Only You, Gene Ticks, Testaments 24, or Precocious? Or did you enjoy the entire album? And which disc did you enjoy listening to more, disc 1 or disc 2? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favourite tracks. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.